Hello everyone, I'm bringing you a video today looking at some recently arrived bits and pieces, and this represents something of a new avenue for me in terms of collecting and something I've been considering for a while. Certainly the first couple of bits we're going to look at, which are elements of the South African made 1937 pattern equipment, and say South African components of the 1937 pattern equipment are not that common to find in the UK, but a couple of pieces came up on Facebook Marketplace recently and I snapped them up. And so obviously on the lookout for more elements of the equipment now. It would be nice to put at least a basic sort of musketry set together. That would be quite nice. And then the main package which has arrived came from South Africa and includes sort of more Cold War era bits of web equipment and so forth, which we're going to talk about. So something I've been considering for a while, and I've finally taken the plunge and purchased some bits and pieces of South African origin. So that's what we're going to have a look at now. So here we have the various bits and pieces of which have arrived. The 1937 pattern components on top I've just thrown on there, added these in. They didn't arrive with the main package, they were bought in the UK, but the rest of the items in the box arrived from South Africa. So I'll move this out of the way now and we will have a look at the various bits and pieces individually. So the first thing to look at here is a South African 1937 pattern basic pouch, and you can see one of the distinguishing features of South African equipment is this tab, the metal tab on the closure strap there with the female press stud on it. You can also see the markings in here. We have the manufacturer's mark nice and clear in the lid there, and then the U broad arrow South African inspection stamp there in sort of a red or pink, which is a very common thing to see. You can see the manufacturing details in there, the way this has been formed. It's basically a standard 1937 pattern pouch, but the webbing itself is thinner than you would expect. It's a lot softer and floppier because of that. You can see the details of construction there. Something we'll have a look at in further detail once I've got a bit more of this stuff together and can make a more in-depth video. The other 1937 pattern item which has arrived is this water bottle carrier. As you can see, again, it basically follows the 1937 pattern form in having the snap closure up on the shoulder there, the British design. Obviously Canadians modified this to have a snap closure on the front, but the various details there make this out South African is the sort of poor quality of the metalwork. It's very common to see. You've got the sort of gold finish over steel, and then you have this thinner webbing that's been laminated to make this sort of strong enough and stiff enough to do its job. And you can see all the stitching there where this has been laminated together from two different thicknesses, well, two thin thicknesses of webbing to make something equivalent to the sort of thickness you'd see on British webbing. So that's the water bottle carrier there, the 1937 pattern equipment. Right, we'll next move on to another water bottle with sort of a carrier. This is a South African water bottle in its sort of webbing carrier, and this is part of the 1961-1964 pattern equipment. Now, the South African Army introduced a set of equipment very similar to 1958 pattern in some regards, but definitely derived from it, not a direct copy. And that included this water bottle, which is based on Bundeswehr practice, so it's copied off the West German Army, and it has an aluminium canteen inside this plastic outer shell. The bottom part forms the cup and comes away. We've got the brackets there for a handle, and moulded in sections for the aluminium handles there, which are missing unfortunately on this example, but that's what you have there. And then the aluminium canteen sits inside this, and you then have this cap here which is retained by this webbing strap at the top, as you can see. Actually a little bit awkward to open, but you can see it is an aluminium canteen in there with a plastic cap. And I think you have the Afrikaans warning on the front here, do not heat. You've got it in Afrikaans and then in English as well. So you can see that there. We may be invaded by the cat here. He's just wandering across to the left, so we'll see. If I angle up slightly, you'll possibly just see his belly and his paws up there, but he's not going to come right into shot. So creak of the tripod there. Anyway, so he is watching from the corner of the blanket here. Another water bottle in carrier is this example, and this is from the 1970 pattern South African equipment, which is the next sort of step along from the equipment we were just discussing previously. And this is essentially a US style bottle in a US style cover, but obviously with belt loops pressed at the back to secure this on the belt, and then a spring clip, which you recognise is basically the same type of spring clip as was used with the 1958 pattern. So that feature was carried across. But again, something we'll talk about in more detail in the future. And then we have a set, a sort of basic set of 1970 pattern equipment. I'm lifting all this stuff up here and sort of throwing it down on the blanket, and the cat's quite happy with that, which is good. So you have the rear pouches here. It in form sort of conforms to 1958 pattern in a way, and you have the two rear or kidney pouches. You also have a cape carrier down here, which clips onto the belt in the same sort of way. The ammunition pouches are very different, of course. You can see one of those here. And the way the yoke attaches using the spring clips is very different as well. Now this has been covered, this set of equipment has been covered on YouTube by various YouTubers previously. I probably will make my own video on it at some point in the future, but I'm happy to have this set. It's worn. There are some press studs which are broken on it, but it was cheaper to buy this in South Africa and have it shipped over with these other bits. It worked out cheaper than buying a set over here. So, and I'm happy to have a worn set, quite happy with a worn set. It doesn't really bother me. I may pick up some other components and swap out some of the damaged components going forward. But we have a sort of basic setup, two ammunition pouches, the cape carrier there, the rear pouches and the yoke or suspenders there. And then obviously we do have a canteen or water bottle. I would like to get another one of those to have one on each hip, which I think was quite common, and then perhaps get some of the rucksacks and the sort of combat pack and so forth that went with this as well. But we have a basic sort of belt rig here, I guess you could say, including the cape carrier, which is nice. So move that out of the way. I'm probably not using the terms used to describe 1970 pattern in the components in use, for example, cape carrier, but forgive me on that point. I'm using sort of British terminology there. The final thing is this South African made, what I believe to be a South African made sling, steel fittings on the end there. It basically follows a standard sort of Enfield SLR pattern rifle sling, which had been around since prior to the First World War, but the rivets are more closely spaced, as you can see, and say that is a detail difference. It's also made in the same green colour of canvas as the 1970 pattern equipment. I believe these were used in Rhodesia as well, by the Rhodesian Army. And some of the other components we've looked at there were as well. The water bottles were extensively used by the Rhodesian Army as well. I think, if I remember correctly, prior to UDI, they had introduced, or were introducing, the 1961/64 pattern equipment. And because of that, you see this sort of overlap in equipment, but that tails off then. They have their own 1969 pattern or 69 pattern equipment, which is something I'm interested in as well going forward. I'll be quite keen to pick up some more Rhodesian kit as well, because obviously there's an overlap there, and it's certainly an interest of mine. But at the moment, the South African kit is a new area for me. So that's the last piece to look at there. That's everything that's arrived in this package, and a couple of other bits as well. And that's everything I wanted to look at here. So obviously the intention is, once the sets are a bit more complete, once I have a few more components to talk about, there will be videos looking at this stuff in more detail. So it's basically collecting South African and Rhodesian kit is another avenue of collecting I'm looking at now, mainly because of the British influence on this kit. Obviously it's similar to sort of collecting the Australian M1956 and the Canadian 1951 pattern, 1964 pattern, etc. How these evolved from and then quite considerably deviated from the preceding British equipment which had been used up to the introduction of these different sets of equipment. So basically the Commonwealth, the Empire, were using 1937 pattern, and then going forward during the Cold War adopted their own sets of equipment, which to a greater or lesser degree sort of borrowed from British practice. So that's one of the reasons for going down this avenue, is it's another example of that, this South African equipment in its various forms. And obviously, as I say, it'll be nice if I can put together a set of South African 1937 pattern. That's the end goal anyway. If you have found this interesting, you'd like to see more of this sort of thing, please do consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. And whether you're newly subscribing or you've previously subscribed, please do make sure you hit the little bell, the notification button down below, and that will of course alert you when I upload future videos. If you really like my uploads and you would like to support the channel, you can. Both Patreon and PayPal are linked down below. And as I always say, a huge thank you to everybody who supports the channel using those two methods. It really is greatly appreciated. Thank you all very much indeed. If you'd like to follow the channel on social media, you can. Facebook, Instagram and Twitter are all linked down below. And of course, if you'd like to get in touch with me but you don't really use social media, there is of course an email address in the description as well. That's everything for this video. So until next time, bye for now.